Okay, the next topic is the routine of triangulation survey. These are the points: reconnaissance survey, erection of signals and towers, measurement of baseline, measurement of horizontal angle, astronomical observations and calculations. Okay, coming to the first one, reconnaissance survey. What is a reconnaissance survey? It is a very rough survey carried out before carrying out the actual detailed survey. Okay, in the reconnaissance survey, the surveyor goes on the actually goes on the field and decides the best working plan, that is the approximate locations of the triangulation stations. Okay, and then he will work out on those approximate stations, and he will decide the actual or the correct triangulation station. In the for the reconnaissance survey, the surveyor should possess the great skill, experience and judgment. Okay, as the economy and accuracy of the triangulation stations depend on his judgment or the skills or his expertise in the field. So the reconnaissance survey includes the following operation: examination of country, that is actually going on the field to be surveyed, selection of the suitable sites for the baseline, selection of suitable position of the triangulation station, determination of intervisibility and height of stations, calculation of miscellaneous information regarding communication, water, food, labor. Since as we have seen that the primary and secondary triangles or tertiary triangles, the area of those triangles goes up to hundreds of square kilometer. So when we travel in such a vast area, we should also make sure that there is a proper communication between our base camp and the surveyors who are going on the field, and also the supply of food and labor. Selection of proper well-defined natural points to be used as a control intercepted points. So we should make proper use of natural elevation so that we can make sure the intervisibility between the stations. So if one of the point is located at the on high grounds, that will be visible from the other stations. Okay, again, if that was when we this slide we have seen what are the works we have carried on the field. Suppose we have a map of the area which is to be surveyed, or the triangulation stations are to be fixed. Okay, so by observing those map and analyzing those maps, we can decide the positions of the triangulation station. Also, if we have a photogrammetric map, as we have seen, what is a photogrammetric map? It is a map prepared by compiling, that is joining of photographs. The photographs are taken from a camera mounted on the aircraft which flies over the area. Also, if the maps are not available, we can survey those area by plane table survey and determine the probable triangulation stations. Next, selection of triangulation station. Okay, these are the points to be remembered or considered. Station should be intervisible. All the triangulation stations should be intervisible. For this purpose, they should be placed upon elevated ground. As said, that preferably the triangle should be an equilateral triangle, if not an isosceles triangle, or if not well conditioned triangle. We have seen the what is a well conditioned triangle. The angle should not be less than 30 degree, that is it should be greater than 30 degree, and it should be less than 120 degree. So the angles in a well conditioned triangle should be in between 30 and 120. The length between the stations should not be too short or too long. The station should be easily accessible. Okay, so that we can erect the signals and towers over the station. Okay, and we should make sure that since the food and communication are can be carried out over those stations. Okay, again, the station should be in the commanding position over the terrain, so that it is intervisible. In case of if the station is located in the dense vegetation, that is forest area, the cost of cutting the trees and building the tower so that it is intervisible should be minimum, and the line of sight should not pass over the towns or factories or industrial areas, because due to the pollution, okay, and the atmospheric haze, okay, there will be refraction of the line of sight, okay, and we may not be able to sight the station. The intervisibility will be a problem in that case. Okay, so once we locate the triangulation station, those stations are marked by these posts or poles. Okay, this is a general which for your information you can go through it. Is never asked in the examination. So this is how, these are the actual photographs of the post or poles which are erected over the triangulation stations. You can see in the photograph, these posts are located over the elevated ground so that they are visible from far away. The intervisibility of points, there are numerical based on these topics. We'll see in the latter part separately, intervisibility and satellite station. Okay, now the signals. Now these signals and towers are erected over the triangulation station. Okay, a signal is device erected to define the exact position of the triangulation station so that it can be observed from other station. And the accuracy of triangulation depends on the degree of accuracy of the signals. Also the centering, and the signal should be truly vertical. So the signal which is erected over the station, the accuracy depends upon the centering of the signals over the station, also the verticality of the signals over the station. A signal is placed at each of the stations so that the line of sight are established between the triangulation station. Okay, we can observe the signals which are located over all the triangulation station from any of the other triangulation station. These are the properties of good signal. It should be clearly visible against any background, should be capable of being accurately centered over the station, it should be suitable for accurate bisection from the other station, and it should be free from phase or possesses small phase. So what is the phase, we'll see in the latter part again. Okay, now types of signal: opaque signal, that is non-luminous signal, okay, and second, luminous signal. In non-luminous signal, the light rays are not used, okay, and in the luminous signal, the light rays are used. It can be the natural light or artificial light. We'll see the opaque signal, that is the non-luminous signal. These are the various types: pole signal, target signal. Okay, these are normally poles painted, or the targets are fixed over the poles for better visibility, and these poles are located over the tripod stand. You can go through this. These are very simple, but this topic is very important as far as our theory examination is concerned, the signals and towers. Okay, many times the question is asked over this particular topic. Okay, now coming to the luminous signal, in which the light rays are used for geodetic work. It is a general practice to make observations on the luminous signal, distinct and clear visibility even for a long distance, that is more than 30 kilometers. So we can sight the signals which are at having a distance of 30 kilometers from the observed station. Heliotropes and heliographs are generally referred as helios, gives light similar to the similar to the bright star over a long range. So these heliographs or heliotropes are used in case of luminous signals, suitable in places where the sunshine is expected for reasonably long period. Since we will be using the natural light, that is sunlight, it is suitable where sunshine is expected for the reasonably long period. Sun signal reflects the rays of sun towards the station of observation, used only in daytime in clear weather. Okay, so what are the heliotropes? Now this heliotrope consists of a circular plane mirror with a small hole at its center to reflect the sun rays, and a sight vane with an aperture carrying a crosshair. Okay, the circular mirror can be rotated. The circular mirror can be rotated horizontally and vertically through 360 degrees. Okay, you can see in the figure there is a mirror, a plain circular mirror. Okay, this circular mirror consists of a hole at its center. Okay, and the circular mirror can be rotated horizontally or vertically in 360 degree. Okay, also we have the in front of a mirror there are two sight vanes. Okay, at which there are, we have fixed the crosshairs. Okay, now heliotrope is centered over the station. Okay, this mirror, okay, the assembly of mirrors is placed over the station, and the line of sight is directed towards the station of observation, that is to the other station which will be observing. The heliotrope man looks through the mirror hole and adjusts the sight vane till the flashes from the station of the observation fall at the center of the crosshair. The sunlight which are reflected through the mirror should pass through the junction of the crosshairs, the vertical and horizontal crosshairs of the sight vanes. Okay, so until unless the light rays pass through the junction of the crosshairs, the sight vanes will be adjusted accordingly. Now the attendant rotates the mirror so that the black shadow of the small central hole, okay, since the mirror consists of hole at the center, the attendant rotates the mirror so that the black shadow of the small central hole of the plane mirror falls exactly at the cross of the sight vanes. This reflected beams will be seen at the observation station. Okay, and we have to keep on adjusting the mirror as the sun will move from east to west. Okay, so since the sun keeps on moving, we have to keep on adjusting the mirror so that the line of sight is passing through the sight vanes and are reflected on the observation station at the other end. This was for the natural light, that is the sunlight, and for working in the night, okay, we use the artificial lights. These are some signals, photographs of the signals. So phase of the signal, as you have seen in case of heliotrope, okay, it consists of a plain circular mirror. Okay, so in case of a circular mirror, when the light reflects on the circular mirror, one half of the portion will be illuminated and half of the portion will remain in shadow. Okay, so if you're on the opposite station, okay, for observation, okay, so you can see only the brightened portion of the mirror, that is, which is you will not be able to see the part of the mirror which is in the shadow. Okay, so you will be bisecting the center of the brightened portion. Okay, and you will be neglecting the shadow portion. So actually you are not bisecting the signal exactly at the center. This is nothing but the phase of the signal. Tower. Now many times it happens that due to some obstructions or the ground elevations, you are not able to sight the station. So in that case, to raise the station to so that it can be bisected from the or it can be sighted from the other station, the towers are erected. Okay, a tower is erected when it is desired to elevate the instrument or signal above the instrument station, okay, to obtain the line of sight clear from the obstructions. Okay, so towers are erected only to only so that the stations are visible from the other stations. Okay, now these towers are built in duplicate, one to support the instrument and other to support the instrument. There are, you can see from the figure, there are two towers, one inside the other, one to support the signal and other to support the observer. Okay, the height of the tower depends upon the intervisibility, which is depend upon the terrain or the obstruction. Okay, the tower can be built in the masonry, timber or steel. Mostly steel towers are erected once the survey work is over, you can remove the or demold the tower, okay, steel tower, or dismantle the tower. These are some photographs of towers. Okay, thank you. We'll see the later part, the other part of this topic in the next lecture.